My wife was in the ICU fighting for her life after a massive heart attack, and my son flew to Aspen with his girlfriend, telling me, "She's tough, Dad, she'll pull through." I can't put my whole life on hold for a hospital visit. He picked ski slopes and champagne over his own mother's last breath. But when he came home and opened the front door, he found something on the kitchen table that dropped him to his knees. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you're listening from in the comments. The coffee had gone cold 2 hours ago. I hadn't touched it. Just sat there in the dark kitchen staring at my phone, the screen dimming every 30 seconds, my thumb tapping it back to life. Ruth's contact photo smiled up at me. Taken at our anniversary dinner last June, 43 years, she wore that blue dress I loved. Candlelight caught the silver in her hair. The house was too quiet. No television playing Jeopardy in the living room. No Ruth humming while she folded laundry. Just the refrigerator cycling on and off and the baseboard heaters clicking. February in Minnesota. 18 degrees outside. Felt colder in here. I picked up the phone. Scrolled to Dylan's name. Pressed call. 6 rings. I counted every one. "Hey, Dad." Background noise. Music thumping. Glasses clinking. A woman laughing close to the microphone. "What's going on?" "Not how's Mom? Not any update?" "What's going on?" "I'm calling about your mother, Dylan." "Right. Yeah. How's she doing?" "She had another episode this afternoon. They moved her back to the ICU." Pause. Someone said his name. Muffled. He covered the phone, said something I couldn't hear, came back. "That's rough." "But she's stable now?" "Stable isn't the word Dr. Chowdhury used." "Dad, look, I'm at Megan's parents' dinner thing. Can I call you in the morning?" "Your mother is asking for you." I know she is. But I literally just sat down. Megan's dad made reservations at this place 3 weeks ago. "Dylan, I'll come this weekend, okay? Friday. I'll drive up Friday." Friday is 5 days away. "Dad, I can't just drop everything. I have the Aspen trip Wednesday through Sunday. I told you about this 2 months ago." I stood up. Chair scraped the linoleum. "You're still going to Aspen?" "It's Megan's family trip. Her dad booked the whole lodge. I can't bail on them. Your mother is in the ICU." His voice shifted. Controlled. Practiced. "She's tough, Dad. She'll pull through. I can't put my whole life on hold for a hospital visit." That sounds harsh, but my therapist says I need to stop letting guilt dictate my decisions. I couldn't speak for 5 seconds. Maybe 10. "Dad, you there?" "Your therapist." "Yes. Dr. Feldman. I've talked about this. Setting boundaries with family expectations." Boundaries. I repeated the word. Tasted like ash. "Your mother can't breathe on her own, and you're setting boundaries. You're doing the guilt thing again. I gotta go." Megan's waving me over. "Dylan, wait." "Love you, Dad. Give Mom a kiss for me." "I'll text tomorrow." Click. Call ended. 1 minute 47 seconds. I set the phone face down on the counter. Stood there. Kitchen dark except for the light above the stove. Ruth always left that light on. Said the kitchen shouldn't be completely dark. Made the house feel abandoned. 9 steps to the living room. Hardwood floor, the plank near the doorway still creaked. Ruth and I argued about fixing it for 30 years. Never did. The mantel held photographs in mismatched frames. Dylan at 4, sitting on my shoulders at the state fair, cotton candy stuck to his eyebrow. Dylan at 7, holding a walleye he caught at Lake Vermilion, fish almost bigger than him. Dylan at 12, baseball uniform, bat over his shoulder, missing a front tooth from a line drive at practice. Ruth at the emergency room that night, holding an ice pack to his face, still smiling. Dylan at 17. Prom night. Rented tux. Ruth ironed his shirt 3 times because the collar wouldn't lay flat. She drove 40 minutes to Duluth to find the exact shade of boutonniere that matched his date's dress. Coral pink. She called 6 florists. Dylan at 22. College graduation. University of Minnesota. Business degree. Ruth cried so hard her mascara ran down to her chin. I took a photo of that, too. Both of them laughing, her wiping her face with his graduation cap. I picked up the frame. Graduation day. Studied his face. That grin. Those eyes. Ruth's eyes. Same shape, same warmth. At least they used to be warm. I turned the frame face down, left it there. The clock on the wall ticked. 9:15. Visiting hours ended at 8. I'd come home because Ruth made me. Told me I looked terrible. Told me to eat something and sleep. I'd done neither. My phone buzzed from the kitchen. Didn't check it. Probably Dylan texting something casual. An emoji. A thumbs up. The language of someone who doesn't care enough for full sentences. Morning came gray and bitter. I drove to Fairview Hospital, 32 minutes from our house in Stillwater. Same route I'd driven 14 times in 14 days. I knew every pothole, every traffic light, every billboard. The elevator took me to the 3rd floor. ICU. The smell hit first. Always did. Chemical clean. Underneath it, something else. Something human and fragile. The nurses recognized me now. "Good morning, Mr. Callahan." "She had a restful night, Mr. Callahan. Her vitals are looking a little better." They were kind. I held on to their kindness like a rope. Room 314. The door made no sound when I pushed it open. Ruth lay propped at a slight angle. Oxygen mask. IV lines. Heart monitor beeping its steady count. Her skin looked paper thin, bluish around her fingernails. Her wedding ring hung loose. I noticed that yesterday. Didn't say anything. "Morning, sweetheart." I kissed her forehead, cool and dry. Her eyes opened. Took a moment to focus. "Walt, I'm here." "You look tired." "Slept like a rock." Lie. Hadn't slept more than 3 hours in 2 weeks. I filled the plastic pitcher with fresh water. Set the tulips I'd brought from the gift shop on the windowsill. Yellow. Her favorite. $6. The petals were already soft. "Is Dylan coming today?" There it was, the question, every single day. My stomach dropped every single time. "He's got a work thing today, honey. Big client meeting. Sends his love." Ruth studied my face. She always could read me. 43 years of practice. "He's busy. He's busy. But he's thinking about you." She looked at the window. Gray sky. Bare trees. Parking lot full of cars belonging to people visiting people they loved. I dreamed about him last night. He was little, 5 or 6. We were building that snowman in the backyard. Remember? The one with your old hat. The twins' cap. He used a carrot from the fridge. Biggest carrot I'd ever seen. She almost smiled. Almost. "I miss him, Walt." "I know, honey. Tell him to call me. Even just for a minute." "I will." She closed her eyes. Drifted. The machines kept their rhythm. I sat and held her hand and watched the parking lot, and felt something harden behind my ribs. 11:30. Dr. Chowdhury found me in the hallway. She was direct. Always was. I respected that even when I hated what she said. "Mr. Callahan, the echocardiogram from this morning shows further deterioration. Her ejection fraction has dropped to 18%. What does that mean? In time? Weeks. Possibly a month if she stabilizes, but realistically we're looking at 2 to 3 weeks. I'm very sorry. 2 to 3 weeks. We're adjusting her medication to manage symptoms and keep her comfortable. Has your family been notified? I'll make calls today." "Don't wait." She touched my arm. Brief, professional, compassionate. Patients at this stage sometimes decline rapidly. She walked away. White coat, clipboard, moving to the next room, the next family, the next terrible truth. I leaned against the wall, closed my eyes, counted to 10, made it to 4, found a bench near the elevator, took out my phone, called Dylan, straight to voicemail. His recorded voice, cheerful, confident. "You've reached Dylan Callahan. Leave a message or shoot me a text." Beep. "Dylan, it's your father. Dr. Chowdhury spoke to me today. Your mother has 2 to 3 weeks, maybe less. I need you to come home. Please call me back." Sent a text, same message. Added, "This is serious, please." 3 hours later. Reply. 1 word. Noted. Noted. Like a memo. Like a calendar reminder. Like something you write on a post-it and stick to your monitor and forget about. I stared at that word until the screen went black. Wednesday morning. I was pouring coffee when my phone buzzed. Instagram notification. I'd set up an account 2 years ago, never posted anything, just followed Dylan because Ruth wanted to see his photos. Ruth didn't have a phone anymore. Too weak to hold it. Dylan's story. Airport terminal. Carry-on bag, ski jacket, sunglasses pushed up on his forehead. Big grin. Megan beside him. Blonde, perfect teeth. Matching designer luggage. Caption. Aspen bound. 5 days of powder and 0 responsibilities. Let's go. 0 responsibilities. I screenshot it. Didn't know why. Unstuck. Drove to the hospital. Sat with Ruth. Read to her from the novel on her bedside table, East of Eden. She'd been reading it before the heart attack. Dog-eared at page 214. I picked up where she left off. My voice cracked twice. She didn't notice. She was sleeping. Thursday. Instagram. Dylan on a ski lift. Mountains behind him. Blue sky. Fresh snow. Caption. This is what healing looks like. Everyone deserves to recharge. Healing. From what? A stressful dinner reservation? I screenshot it. That afternoon, Ruth's sister Louise arrived from Omaha. Drove 7 hours straight. Walked into the room, saw Ruth, burst into tears. Sat beside the bed and held her hand and talked about their childhood, their mother's kitchen, the dog they shared. A school dance in 1974. Ruth smiled. First real smile I'd seen in a week. Louise found me in the cafeteria later, her eyes red, jaw set. Where is he, Walter? Work trip. The lie came automatically now. Don't insult me. I saw his Instagram. He's skiing. I said nothing. Looked at my soup. Hadn't eaten a bite. Skiing. While his mother. She couldn't finish. Pressed her napkin to her mouth. What's wrong with him? I don't know. Have you told him how bad it is? I told him 2 to 3 weeks. And he went skiing. Louise grabbed my wrist. Hard. Walter, I swear to God, if that boy doesn't show up before Ruth. She stopped. Took a breath. I'll never forgive him. None of us will. She wasn't wrong. Friday. Saturday. Sunday. The posts kept coming. Dylan in a hot tub. Steam rising. Mountains behind him. Dylan at a restaurant. Steak the size of a dinner plate. Bottle of wine. Megan's. Instagram too. Someone showed me on their phone. Couple photos. Matching beanies. Sunset on the slopes. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag grateful. Hashtag living my best life. I printed each one at the library. Mrs. Tran at the front desk didn't ask why, just handed me the pages, warm from the printer. Saturday evening. Ruth had a bad night. Blood pressure dropped. Nurses rushing in. I stood in the corner, out of the way, watching them work. Efficient. Calm. They stabilized her by midnight. I sat in the chair beside her bed until 6 a.m. Drove home. Showered. Drove back. Sunday. Texted Dylan again. Your mother had a critical episode last night. BP dropped dangerously. She's stable now, but very weak. Please come. 4 hours later. Glad she's stable. Flying back Tuesday evening. We'll try to visit Wednesday. We'll try. Monday, February 17th. I left the hospital at 2 p.m. Drove not home, but to the office of Richard Kwan, estate attorney, downtown St. Paul, 8th floor, glass and steel, lake view. Richard stood when I entered. We'd known each other 20 years. He'd drawn up our first will in 2004. Our daughter's godfather. Good man. Sharp. Walt. I'm so sorry about Ruth. How is she? Dying. No point in softening it. That's why I'm here. I need to change our will. He settled into his chair, pulled our file. Your current will leaves everything equally to Dylan as sole heir. Standard revocable trust. I want him to get nothing. Richard's pen stopped. He looked up, held my gaze. Nothing. Zero. Walt, that's... Are you sure? What happened? I opened my folder, placed the printouts on his desk. One by one. Airport selfie. Ski lift. Hot tub. Restaurant. Sunset. 9 posts. 9 days. Captions underneath each one. 0 responsibilities. This is what healing looks like. Living my best life. Then the text messages. Screenshots printed on white paper. Your mother has 2 to 3 weeks. Reply. Noted. Your mother had a critical episode. Reply. Glad she's stable. We'll try to visit Wednesday. Richard read everything. Removed his glasses. Rubbed his eyes. 9 posts, I said. 0 calls to the hospital. 0 calls to his mother. 0 calls to the nurses. She asks for him every single day, Richard. Every single day I lie to her face. I tell her he's working. She knows. She knows I'm lying. But she doesn't have the strength to argue. Silence. Richard placed the printouts in a neat stack, aligned the edges. What do you want to do with the estate? Community Workshop Fund. Ruth's name. Free woodworking and trades classes for kids in Stillwater who can't afford college. Ruth always said not every kid needs a degree. Some need a craft. She believed that. Richard typed. Occasional questions. Total estate value, $540,000. House, $310,000, appraised last year. Savings, $180,000. Life insurance, $50,000. I answered each one. Steady voice. Clear head. Minnesota law allows complete disinheritance of adult children if explicitly stated, Richard said. We'll include an intentional omission clause. 2 witnesses required. We can execute today. Today. He drafted. I waited. 40 minutes. Printer hummed. I, Walter James Callahan, being of sound mind, intentionally make no provision for my son, Dylan Robert Callahan. This omission is deliberate and not due to oversight. My entire estate shall establish the Ruth Callahan Trades Foundation. He looked up. This is binding once signed. Good. Linda from the front desk witnessed. So did a paralegal named Jeff. I signed. Black ink. No hesitation. Richard sealed the documents. Handed me the envelope. Heavy. Final. One more thing. I leaned forward. A letter. Personal. To be included with the will. I dictated. Richard wrote, Dylan, your mother died while you were choosing yourself over her. She asked for you every day. You didn't come. You called her situation a hospital visit, something that interfered with your schedule. This will reflect your choices. You will inherit nothing. The estate will fund a trades foundation in your mother's name, helping young people who understand the value of what they're given. This is not anger. This is consequence. Your father, Walter Callahan. Richard sealed the letter in a separate envelope, attached it to the will, shook my hand at the door. I support this, Walt. For what it's worth a lot. I drove home, envelope on the passenger seat, felt its weight the entire 32 minutes. Tuesday evening. Dylan's last Aspen post appeared while I sat beside Ruth's bed. She was sleeping more now. 18-20 hours a day. The oxygen had been increased twice. His post. Sunset over mountains. Glass of scotch in hand. Caption. Last night in paradise. Back to reality tomorrow. But wow, what a reset. Feeling recharged and ready for whatever's next. Whatever's next. He had no idea. I screenshot it, printed it the next morning, added to the folder. 10 posts total. 10 sunny, smiling, carefree posts, while his mother's heart failed one beat at a time. Wednesday, Thursday. Dylan didn't visit, didn't call, texted once. Jet lag is brutal. Catching up on sleep. Will come this weekend for sure. For sure. 2 words that meant nothing from him. Thursday evening. Ruth woke up more alert than she'd been in days. Sometimes that happened. Dr. Chowdhury had warned me. Sometimes patients rally before the end. A last surge. A goodbye the body gives before it leaves. Walt. Her voice clearer. Stronger almost. Sit close. I pulled the chair against the bed rail. Took her hand. I know he's not coming. My throat closed. Ruth, don't lie to me. Not now. I can feel it. He's not coming. I couldn't speak. Just shook my head. A tear slid from the corner of her eye into the pillow. My baby. I'm sorry, honey. It's not your fault. She squeezed my hand. Weak, but deliberate. Promise me something. Anything. Don't hate him forever. He's lost. People get lost. I couldn't promise that. So I said, I love you, Ruth. I know you do. 43 years. I'd do it all again. Me too. Every day. She smiled. Real smile. The one from our wedding photos. The one from that anniversary dinner. The one that made me fall in love with her in the summer of 1980 at a county fair in Hastings. Read to me, Walt. The Steinbeck. I read. Page 214 to 231. My voice steady, because she needed it steady. She listened with her eyes closed. Around page 226, her breathing changed. Slower, longer gaps between each breath. I kept reading. At 9:47 p.m., between one sentence and the next, Ruth exhaled and didn't inhale again. The heart monitor changed its tone. Flat, continuous. Nurses came in. I didn't move, kept holding her hand, kept the book open on my lap. Louise was there. She'd been in the waiting room, came rushing in, sobbed against the bedrail. Mrs. Patterson from our church arrived minutes later. She'd been visiting daily, brought Ruth's favorite cookies every time, even though Ruth couldn't eat them anymore. The room was full of people who loved her, except one. I called Dylan at 10:15. He answered on the third ring. Background quiet. Home. Dad, what's up? Your mother passed away. 47 minutes ago. Silence. 5 seconds. 10. What? Ruth died tonight. 9:47 p.m. No. No, she was stable. You said she was stable. I said she was in the ICU with 2 to 3 weeks. That was 12 days ago. I was going to come this weekend. His voice cracked. I was going to. You didn't. Dad. Funeral arrangements are being made. I'll text you the details. Dad, wait. I need to. Good night, Dylan. I hung up, set the phone on the bedside table, looked at Ruth. Peaceful. The oxygen mask removed. Just her face. Beautiful even now. He knows, I whispered. I'm sorry I couldn't get him here. 2 days later, Friday afternoon, I went to Dylan's old room. Second floor, end of the hall. Door closed. Hadn't been opened in months. The hinges protested when I pushed it in. Everything frozen. Twin bed with the navy comforter he picked at 15. Desk with textbooks he never took to his apartment. Trophies on the shelf. Baseball, debate team, academic decathlon. Posters on the walls. Bands from the 2010s. A signed twins pennant from his 12th birthday. Photos tacked to a corkboard. High school friends, prom, graduation, family vacations at Lake Superior. Dust on every surface. The room of a loving son. That person didn't exist anymore. I placed the envelope centered on his pillow. White against navy blue. Impossible to miss. Open immediately written in black marker. Smoothed it flat. Stepped back. Looked at it. Done. Left the door half open so the hallway light would draw him in. Saturday morning. Funeral. Morrison Blake Chapel on Main Street. February 22nd. Cold, bright day. Sun on snow. 91 people came. Ruth had touched that many lives. More. Chrysanthemums and tulips. Her favorites. Closed casket. White oak. Photos on easels. Ruth at 20, standing by the lake. Ruth at 35, teaching Dylan to ride a bike. Ruth and me at our 40th anniversary. Smiling. Always smiling. Dylan arrived late. 12 minutes after the service started. Dark suit. Unshaven. Sat in the third row, not the front. People noticed, whispered. Louise walked past him without a word. Mrs. Patterson gave him a look that could freeze Lake Superior solid. I stood at the podium. Ruth Ann Callahan was the finest person I have ever known. 43 years of marriage, and not one day did I take for granted. She was a teacher in every sense. She taught children, she taught neighbors, she taught me. She believed that everyone had something valuable inside them, some skill, some gift, and her mission was to help them find it. She said, "Not every kid needs a diploma, Walt. Some need a workbench and someone to believe in them. Her name will live on." The Ruth Callahan Trades Foundation will give young people the chance to learn a craft, build something with their hands, and find their purpose. That's her legacy. That's who she was. I didn't mention Dylan. Not once. After the service, people came to me. Hugs, handshakes, tears. Dylan stood near the door. Alone. Nobody approached him. Word travels in a small town. Everyone had seen the Instagram posts. Everyone knew. He tried to hug me. I accepted it. Brief, arms at my sides, said nothing. Turned to talk with Ruth's colleagues from the library where she'd volunteered for 12 years. At the cemetery, he stood 20 feet from the grave, hands in his pockets, watched from a distance. I didn't look at him. When the last prayer was said, when the last handful of dirt was placed, I walked to my car. He followed. Dad. I kept walking. Dad, please, can we talk? I opened my car door. Sunday evening. Come to the house. We'll talk then. He nodded. Desperate. Relieved. I drove away. Sunday, 6 p.m. His headlights swept across the front windows. Car door. Footsteps on the porch. He still had a key. The lock turned. Door opened. He stepped inside, stamped snow from his shoes, looked into the kitchen where I sat at the table, same table where Ruth and I had eaten 10,000 meals. He came in, sat across from me, coat still on, eyes bloodshot. He hadn't slept. Good. Dad, I'm sorry. I know I should have been there. I made a terrible mistake. I said nothing, reached under the table, pulled out the manila folder, set it between us. He looked at it, didn't understand. I opened the folder, took out the first printout, placed it facing him. Airport selfie, February 12th, Aspen bound, 0 responsibilities. His face went white. Second printout, ski lift. This is what healing looks like. Third, hot tub, mountains, steam, champagne glass. Fourth, restaurant, steak, wine, Megan smiling beside him. I placed them one by one. Methodical. Each photo paired with a date. February 12th. You posted this. I tapped the airport photo. That morning, your mother's oxygen was increased because her blood saturation dropped to 84%. Next photo. February 14th. Valentine's Day. You and Megan at a fondue restaurant. Your mother asked the nurse if her son had called. The nurse checked the log. He hadn't. Next. February 15th. You snowboarding. That afternoon, your Aunt Louise drove 7 hours from Omaha to sit with your mother. 7 hours. You were 40 minutes by plane. I kept going. Every photo, every date, every parallel. February 17th. You're in a hot tub posting about healing. Your mother's blood pressure crashed at 2 a.m. 3 nurses worked on her for 45 minutes. I stood in the corner of the room watching them try to keep her alive. He pushed back from the table, couldn't look at the photos, covered his face with both hands. Dad, stop, please. I didn't stop. February 19th, your last post. Back to reality. Feeling recharged. That night, your mother rallied, opened her eyes, talked to me for the first time in 2 days. Clear. Present. She knew. She said, I know he's not coming, Walt. Don't lie to me. His shoulders shook. I continued. Her last words were asking me to not hate you forever. She was dying, and she was worried about you, about your feelings. I pulled out the text message screenshots, placed them on top of the photos. I texted you. Your mother has 2 to 3 weeks. You replied, noted. 1 word. I pointed. I texted, critical episode, BP dropped. You replied, glad she's stable. We'll try to visit Wednesday. You didn't come Wednesday, or Thursday, or Friday. He was crying now, not performing. Real tears. 10 Instagram posts. 14 days, 0 calls to the hospital, 0 questions about her medication, her pain level, her last wishes, 0. I let the silence sit. 30 seconds. The kitchen clock ticked. The refrigerator hummed. Same sounds as every night, except Ruth wasn't here. There's an envelope on your pillow upstairs, I said. Go read it. He stared at me. Red eyes. Wet face. What envelope? Go. He stood, legs unsteady, walked to the stairs. I heard him climb. 14 steps. The creaking plank at the top. His bedroom door opening. Footsteps. 3 steps to the bed. Paper rustling. Envelope tearing. Silence. 10 seconds. 20. Then his voice. Reading aloud. Disbelief. I intentionally make no provision for my son, Dylan Robert Callahan. Louder now. Entire estate. Ruth Callahan Trades Foundation. $540,000. A sound I'd never heard from him. Something between a gasp and a moan. No. No, this isn't real. Footsteps. Fast. Coming down the stairs. He stumbled on the last three. Burst into the kitchen. Will in one hand. Letter in the other. Face contorted. Dad, this is a joke. Tell me this is a joke. It's not a joke. Signed. February 17th, 2 witnesses. Richard Kwan drafted it. You can't do this. He waved the papers at me. $540,000. The house. Everything. You're giving it all to some foundation? Your mother's foundation. I'm your son. Are you? That stopped him. Same way you'd stop a charging animal with a wall. He stood there, mouth open, papers trembling in his hands. Dad. Voice small now. Bargaining. I made a mistake. People make mistakes. I'll do anything. I'll go to the cemetery every day. I'll volunteer. Whatever you want. What I wanted was for you to sit with your mother while she was alive. Hold her hand. Tell her you loved her. That's all she needed. All she asked for. I was going to come that weekend. She died Thursday. You were sleeping off jet lag. He dropped into the chair. Will and letter clutched to his chest, rocking slightly. I didn't know what happened so fast. I told you 2 to 3 weeks. That was 12 days before she died. The math was there, Dylan. You chose not to do it. Megan's family. The trip was planned for months. Her dad. I held up my hand. Stop. You're 36 years old. You made a choice. Powder and champagne over your dying mother. Live with it. I'll contest the will. Go ahead. Richard Kwan is the best estate attorney in the Twin Cities. I have your Instagram posts, your text messages, witness statements from nurses, from your Aunt Louise, from Mrs. Patterson, from Dr. Chowdhury. Every piece of evidence showing exactly who you are. A court will see it all. If you want that public, be my guest. He deflated, like someone had opened a valve. I can change. I know I can. Maybe. But not with your mother's money. What am I supposed to do? I don't know, Dylan. Figure it out. The way most people do. Without a safety net of money you didn't earn. He sat there for a long time. I let him. Wasn't cruel about it. Just quiet. The clock ticked. Outside, wind pushed snow against the windows. February in Minnesota. Finally he spoke. Barely a whisper. What did she say? At the end? I closed my eyes. Saw Ruth's face. That last smile. She asked me to read to her. Steinbeck. East of Eden. I read 17 pages. She listened with her eyes closed. Between one sentence and the next, she was gone. Peaceful. Quiet. Louise was in the waiting room. Made it in time to say goodbye. Mrs. Patterson brought flowers. The nurses cried. Everyone who cared about her was there. How was it? Except you. He folded forward. Forehead on the table, arms over his head, sobbing. The papers crumpled beneath him. I stood, pushed my chair in, placed my hand on his shoulder, held it there for 3 seconds, then removed it. The funeral was yesterday. You were there. You saw how many people loved her. 91. Every one of them showed up. Some drove hours. Your Aunt Louise drove 7 hours in a snowstorm. I paused. You live 40 minutes away. He didn't lift his head. You have until Tuesday to take anything you want from your room. After that, I'm donating what's left. I walked to the living room, sat in my chair, turned on the television, didn't watch it, just needed the sound. Something to fill the space where Ruth's voice used to be. Dylan left at 9:30. Didn't take anything from his room, just walked out. I heard his car start, tires crunching snow, headlights fading down the street. I locked the door behind him. 3 weeks later. March. The snow was melting. First hints of spring. Tiny green shoots pushing through brown lawns. Birds returning. Ruth would have loved it. She always said March was the bravest month. Everything daring to grow again after winter tried to kill it. I was sitting on the back porch. Coffee. Ruth's chair beside mine. Empty but there. Always there. The mail came at 11. I walked to the box. Electric bill, grocery flyer, a thick envelope from Quan and Associates. I opened it on the porch. Read it twice. Dear Walter, I am pleased to inform you that the Ruth Callahan Trades Foundation has been officially registered with the state of Minnesota. Tax-exempt status has been granted. Foundation value, $540,000. First program cycle begins September 2025. 12 recipients selected. $4,500 annual scholarships, renewable for 2 years. Tools and materials provided. First recipient pending final approval. James Whitfield, 17. Son of a single mother. Works weekends at a hardware store. Wants to become a carpenter. 3.8 gigapascals. Volunteers building wheelchair ramps for elderly homeowners through his church. Exactly who Ruth would have chosen. Your wife's legacy is underway. Warmly, Richard. I set the letter down, looked at Ruth's chair, empty but full of her, full of 43 years. Took her photo from my wallet, the one from our anniversary dinner. Blue dress, silver hair, candlelight. That smile. I did it, sweetheart. Speaking to her the way I still did every morning. Every night. I know you'd say forgive him. You always were better than me. But I couldn't let someone who called your illness an inconvenience inherit what we built together. So your name helps kids now. Real kids. Kids like James, who works weekends and builds ramps for old folks and wants to learn what I spent my whole life doing. I looked at the yard, the garden beds Ruth had planned for spring, the birdhouse I built her for our 30th anniversary, the maple tree Dylan climbed as a boy, the one with the tire swing long gone. He lost more than money, Ruth. He lost you. He lost the chance to hear your voice one last time, to hold your hand, to tell you he loved you while you could still hear it. No amount of money equals that. He'll figure that out someday. Maybe. The sun broke through the clouds. First warm day in months. Light hit the snow, made it sparkle. The yard looked like it was covered in diamonds. I sipped my coffee. Warm this time. Actually drank it. Somewhere in Stillwater, a 17-year-old kid was about to learn he'd been given a chance. Tools, training, mentorship. Ruth's gift. Ruth's name. Ruth's belief that everybody has something valuable inside them. James Whitfield didn't know it yet, but a woman he'd never met had just changed his life. That was enough. That was right. Justice wasn't revenge. It was consequence. And consequence had arrived. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the video on the left. Thank you for watching.